I'm Molly Harper with the Harper Consulting Group, and this is Elevating Impact, a series of conversations with extraordinary leaders and nonprofits all around the country. Today, I have joining me Shane Woods. Shane is the executive director of Girlstart. Shane, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I'd love to start with you just telling us a little bit about Girlstart.
Oh, I get the honor of talking about Girlstart all the time as their executive director. I am happy to say that Girlstart focuses on fourth and fifth grade girls to really empower them to understand what science, technology, engineering, and math can mean to them. And if they master those different fields, that it really does open an opportunity that a lot of women don't have, though that beyond just the living wage, that they really get a chance to make a difference in the world. We found out that a lot of girls definitely are more interested in how the job that adults hold can change the world versus just what they do and how much they make. Now, they do care about those things, but that's usually not the first thing they ask. So, Girl Start does year round programming. We start with after school in the fourth and fifth grade area around mostly the free and reduced lunch kind of arena in terms of those schools that are Title I that do not have all the resources during the day. We come in after school and provide a wonderful woman-centered curriculum that allows them to learn about women doing STEM and changing the world. That's at no cost to the girl or the caregiver. We also have experiences that include a free summer experience for a week. So it extends from what they learned in after school, and they get to have another experience, a little longer, deep dive in the summer. Again, no cost. And then throughout the year, we have events that are on the weekend that are family friendly because we also somehow always get the question of, well, what about the boys? Well, when data looks at it, we really should have been asking, what about the girls a lot longer? But we have those opportunities where the family can wrap around the girl and show that how they enjoy learning with her and beside her, and that they see her becoming these careers, as well as the boys see what does it look like to support women in those kind of careers and that they work together. So Girl Star does that not only in the state of Texas, but also in Massachusetts and California. So we get a chance to hopefully empower the next generation of world changers.
That's great. I love the fact that you're almost coaching the support network around each girl to be like, no, you can't expect this amazing thing of your daughter or sister or niece. That's fabulous. What did were you in STEM? What drew you to this organization?
Yes, I got a chance to be one of those kids who enjoyed playing outside. So, growing up in the 70s and 80s in Houston, my parents were the type that were like, go outside and then you come home when the lights turn on the street lights. And so I was out there doing all kind of exploration, and there, I'm sure the statute of limitations has gone in terms of what I was able to do unsupervised, but I really found myself in creeks of Houston and looking at different critters. And so I've always had a love and a passion for science. So when I got a chance to go into middle school, I even won an invention convention uh, competition. So it let me know that my brain was on the right track to some greatness in STEM, if you will, before it became even an acronym. I
Right.
got a chance to teach science. I got a chance to work at Girl Scouts at their STEM Center of Excellence for 3 years. And then now that I lead Girl Start, it really is just showing how I went from a teacher of public school students to leading Fort Worth ISD and their over 80,000 kids from K through 12 on their science career,
Mm.
working with Girl Scouts to really kind of hone and narrow my focus on women going into STEM. And now I get to lead a national organization that definitely focuses on younger girls to get them inspired and hopefully stick with it in middle, high school, and beyond, because it really is about that inner cheerleader that keeps them close to being what they dream that they can be. So it's one of those things that recent surveys have said that girls aren't quite sure that they can do their dream job. So that's why Girl Start is here. We are going to make sure they know they can achieve that dream job and change the world.
That's great. That's great. Can you tell me a little bit more about the girls that you're serving? I mean, approximately how many girls are you working with, and has the organization has since its inception? I'd love to hear more.
Yeah, I think we're knocking on since 1997, having served close to 300,000 youth. I think we're
Hmm.
right there on closing that milestone. But in after school clubs, we get a chance to serve roughly, I think, about 3,500 kids in the fall and then in the spring. There is some drop off because kids move and all kind of issues that with mobility and kids being transient. But also in the summer, we get a chance to do about the same. Now we have the free camps, but also in Houston, and then coming this year in Austin, Houston, and Dallas, we will have paid camp opportunities. We will also have a Send a Girl to Camp campaign for those who can't pay the same amount. So we are trying to make sure that we continue that outreach during the summer because we find that parents are like, my daughter really loves it. Now, what do I do with a kid who loves STEM? Bring her to Girlstart Camp, our opportunity. And then when it comes to our family events where we have a huge net that we cast, we can get up to about 10 to 15,000 a year of contact with the family. So we get a chance to not only have the smaller reach, if you will, from after school to summer camp to the large reach of those community events from showing up at different STEM extravaganzas at like the Bullock and the Texas State Museum in Austin, or being at Discovery Green in Houston, Clyde Warren Park in Dallas. So we're really trying to yet again just raise that awareness and help girls dream big.
Yeah, that's great. So it sounds like continued growth is on the horizon. Thinking about looking forward, what are some of the biggest kind of challenges or barriers you're seeing to success for Girl Start?
It's one of those things that I joined in May 2022. I've survived to 2025, and having navigated that, we have had some staffing changes. So when I joined, I got a chance to join and be just the ED. Since then, I have now become our own development director due to a separation from the company. So that means I now get a chance to exercise new muscles. And so what I've done is make sure that I invested in working with a consultant group that is excellent at development and helping harness the talents of what we can do with our Salesforce CRM. Do we actually have a strategy for major donors? Do we know what to do with a monthly donor? Do we have a difference in our corporate and foundations and family giving? Do we have all these strategies? So I feel like a kid who was thrown into a Spanish class only knowing English, but now I feel like I'm fluent. I feel like I can talk the talk, I can walk the walk, and the ask doesn't scare me anymore. So it's one of those things of the challenge that I've navigated is just being a nonprofit, and what you have 1 year in staff, you may not have the next year.
Right.
What is expected of you as an executive director might be 1 year looking at operations, the next year you're the development and operations. Um, so it's just being able to be flexible. Of course, the challenge that you will hear from every nonprofit is also making sure that our mix is right. Yet again, me learning that those kind of words of how much earned income versus how much philanthropic dollars are coming in. Um, my least favorite question to answer is, are we sustainable?
Mm.
Nonprofits that say that if we say the truth and we're like we're reliant on charity dollars, I'm not sure how sustainable that is, because if I have to beg every year, what does that mean? That means that I have a model that is dependent on others, whereas those that are a little more secure in having that earned income model that's supplemented by those important investors and partners are a little more stable, but it's just not a fun question to answer. Are we sustainable?
Right.
We're doing the best work with what people give to us, if you will. So
Yeah.
it's those partners who want to walk with us and see us grow. And then yes, we are definitely sustainable. So my biggest challenge is multi-year grants,
Mm.
staffing challenges, and just wearing the hat of ED.
Right, right. Oh, just that, that's good. I love that you just said that you're okay with the ask. I am one of those people that I think asking for money is one of the funnest things you can do. But it's really about, being a connector, connecting a passionate person with resources to an organization like Girl Start doing amazing things on the ground that needs those resources. So
Yeah.
it's more like dating, really, right?
That is a perfect analogy. And I think it's one of those things to be able to add that as an opportunity that I was able to grow in my comfort because I do come from a family that doesn't believe in asking for help. And so it's hard for me to make that transition that I am asking someone to support and bring their passion alive through the work of Girl Start. And so once I started reframing it that way, and how can I make sure that we bring your mission to life? How do we work together to impact the future of these girls that you care about just as deeply as I care about? You know, to be a champion with us, it really was the difference. And so it let me know that I wasn't begging, with a can, that I'm out there saying, this is how I know we can make a difference. And it's this kind of opportunity that you giving us general operating is perfect because
Right.
every dollar that comes in goes out towards those girls. And that includes paying my staff. That includes paying for, insurance. That includes
Mhm.
rent for the buildings that we host the, programs in. And so if as long as everyone understands that every dollar that comes in is part of our executing of mission,
Mm.
it's wonderful. But it's really about, like I said, me going into that Spanish class and now being able to quote Don Quixote, you know, that's what it feels like in this philanthropic world of being able to see that they're not the enemy.
Yeah.
They're people who are passionate. They just happen to have resources that I need.
Yeah, that's great. Thinking about, I love that it's their mission as well. It's not just yours. And thinking about, you can invest in stocks and bonds, and you can invest in organizations like Girl Start that are, making an amazing future for a lot of these girls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thinking about growth and the couple years ahead, what are you most looking forward to, or what are the big next steps for Girl Start?
For us, yet again, coming into an organization that I was the third leader, so that we had a wonderful founder, Rachel Muir. Then we had Dr. Tamara Hudgens, who had a wonderful way to navigate, an organization away from, the founder and making sure that they still hold true. And then I get to come in and live after the pandemic and to
Mm,
kind of help reimagine what Girl Start can do, and are we doing our best to reach the girls who need us the most, and really talking about zero barriers, and are we creating any barriers for the girls to get to us, and how do we address those. So for us, it's growth in making sure we're reaching the right girl, that the programming, when they get to us, that they feel that they can be successful. So whether your child shows up with a difference that we can see or that we can't see, do they still get something out of that experience? Making sure that we have the best volunteers that we can, that wrap around and show those girls what it looks like to be an adult. The facilitators of STEM are our STEM crew. It's our creative, resourceful, empowered workforce. And they typically are high school, college, or gap year adults that are trying to figure out their way into STEM careers. So we have a near peer model for the girls to learn from these young adults, and then the young adults get a chance to hear from guest speakers who happen to be a part of the STEM ecosystem already. So our growth is making sure that we're in the neighborhoods, the cities, the states that need us the most. So if we're close to a college that happens to be close to an elementary school that has girls who need to figure out how to be a part of the workforce in that city, then we hopefully can be that little spark of interest to get that girl started on the right path to STEM. So really being able to grow where we know that tech is growing. So that's why we're in Silicon Valley of California. That's why we're in Boston. So learning, like, do we need to be in Minneapolis, Minnesota? We know that's a growing tech hub. Do we need to be in any other spaces that are really becoming the it place for technology? Semiconductors is a huge discussion. Are we making sure that Girl Start has people and volunteers and guest speakers coming in and showing those kids what does it mean to pay attention in math and science class so you can get paid this amount of money to make this kind of difference in the world. So for us, it's really just growing in terms of smart, uh, strategic placement of programs that can be funded, so that way we can continue to keep it free and or at no cost or very low cost to the girls who need it the most.
that's great. That's great. Well, one of the topics that we're going to be covering in these conversations is around collaboration. And I know that in the nonprofit sector, we talk a lot about working together, but how to do that in a really proactive, progressive way is of interest to me. So I'd love to hear how you collaborate and work with other organizations or other companies or schools. Clearly are one of your
Oh
priorities.
goodness. We don't even have enough time. But one of the ways I can at least start with is that Girl Start plays very well in the sandbox. We do fourth and fifth grade. We do our older elementary and middle school very well.
Mm.
However, we understand that we offer it more in a buffet. We want to raise the girls' awareness, broaden their understanding of what STEM can be, and make sure that their parents feel empowered to support them. There are other nonprofits that are still in this girls serving STEM space that do more specialized. So they might be like Black Girls Who Code or Girls Who Code. We may introduce coding, they get to deep dive in those organizations. So what we want to do is be able to have a good handshake relationship.
Mm.
We got them ready, they're primed, they're pumped. Now go to middle school. Here's a wonderful organization to help you. Go to Girl Scouts. You can go from K to 12. We can just be a supplement when your parent doesn't like to do STEM. We can help do STEM with you and you earn your badges.
Right.
So it's those kind of opportunities that we get a chance to do. We don't have building space in Boston and in California. So we work with local community centers, Boys and Girls Club, Girls Inc. locations, things like that. So that way we bring the programming there, they have the kid, the facilities, and it goes hand in hand. So it really is a symbiotic relationship with other community partners. We get a chance to work with corporations that are already doing wonderful STEM as volunteers. Some of them do, one-time events like guest speaking, or they put together our kits for getting us prepped for summer camp. Others do guest speaking. And then we, of course, have the opportunity to have people on our committees and our board to help really just have a deeper impact in the community and then have that connection and what does it look like to really invest in the future and then for kids to see grown-ups caring about them.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Well, that actually leads perfectly into my last question, which is, so it sounds like you're looking for volunteers all the way from speaking to board. Are you open for new board members? Oh, can you tell us a little bit more about what people could do to support you?
Of course, shameless plug, go to www.girlstart.org and look into how you can support us through donations as well as your time. So the famous time, talent, treasure is always needed. And we are very grateful for whatever that looks like, whether it's in kind. We're a small organization that still needs, technology that's up to date.
Mhm.
Um, we also really do enjoy being able to go into communities and kind of talk about what Girl Start can do for them. So introductions is just as important. But when it comes to volunteering, like I mentioned, it could be those one-time things. If you're not really kid friendly and you just want to be able to assist us with pro bono work, we only have one person who does marketing. I have one person who does HR. I have one person that does, the finance. We would love that kind of support as well. What does it look like to help us with our task force of, technology, facilities? It really does take everybody to make sure Girl Start is doing the best that we can. Yes, we are also seeking people to become a part of our national committees as well as boards. So we have a finance committee, we have an audit committee, we have strategic planning as well as development engagement, which is really about not just no one has to go ask for money. What we need is introductions to new companies that don't know about Girl Start, promotion and ambassadors that help talk about all the great things that Girl Start does. And then even just inviting us to the table. Let us know that there's a community event and they would like to have a STEM activity. Guess what? Please call Girl Start. We would love to be that. And those who want to have an even, more in-depth, of course, joining our board. So we would love to have them. And so what does it look like to be a part of our board? You don't have to be only focused on STEM. If you happen to be an intellectual law, we would love to have you. If you know a whole lot about human resources, please contact us as quickly as possible. If you are blessed to be able to be a dynamic stay-at-home parent and you need something to do in your time and you have a wonderful network of people who also could be great hands to shake, then we would love to have you. So a lot of people self-select out. How about you let us help you make sure we find the best place for you? And of course, just helping us get in front of kids is really what's the most important. So as you tell us about a school or a community, also give us the name of the superintendent or the principal or the person over science to talk to because teachers have plenty on their plate. They don't want me coming in and asking them about this. It's the decision makers that we need.
That's great. Well, Shane, thank you so much for joining me. Your passion is contagious, and Girlstart is lucky to have you.
I enjoy it every day.
Okay, thank you. And stay tuned for more conversations. Bye.